because I know you had a lot to say about this new Snoop album, Algorithm,
I do.
and to talk about Snoop's career in general. Snoop just released, I guess, his first Def Jam album. Snoop has a position over at Def Jam. I don't want to get the position wrong, so I'll just say he has a position over there. And they're crediting Snoop for signing Benny the Butcher to Def Jam as well. But in the midst of all of that, Snoop was able to put out his first Def Jam release, and it's called Snoop Dogg Presents Algorithm. And look, it kind of reads like a compilation, a playlist, however you want to do it. But yeah, Snoop put together this in a Quincy Jones style. What were your thoughts after listening to the album?
After listening to it the first time, I was like, well, this is the type of playlist you want like Apple or Tidal or Spotify to put together for you, but they never do because they can't get shit right this long. This is one of the best compilations that I've heard in a long time, Mike.
Yeah,
It's
I
one of
was.
the best compilations I've heard in a long time. I can't remember the last time I heard a compilation this good.
Look, Snoop really did a great job of putting this together,
Excellent job.
and let you know how in tune he is with music still. And never left. And like I was telling you offline, I've always felt like Snoop is kind of like a Boosie Collins or George Clinton of this era of hip hop, where it's like he's always embraced the younger artists, the youthful sounds. He's always messed around with a lot of different sounds too, because he came in the game on some gangster rap funk shit with being under Dre and all of that. But he's always kind of kept that up. Who was that artist that he had? What's her name? And if people in the chat might know, was it Michelle Williams or something like that? Who was on All Around the World on the Blueprint 2 on Jay Z's song?
Oh, I know who I can't remember her name
Yeah.
offhand.
So
It's
he's
been a minute,
always
Mike.
been able to be around great talent too. You know what I'm saying? And I think this compilation really brings all of that in full circle. Everybody that was on the compilation, I mean, they sound great on the records they were on. It started off with the Redman and Method Man, collaboration, which I thought was dope. I just felt I love the whole vibe of the thing. For the people in the room,
Yeah,
what was y'all favorite song on there? Because people are listing out some songs right now. Yeah,
yeah.
Latoya, that was her name, Latoya Williams.
Mike, I want to say a couple things. First of all, it's like Snoop did a masterful job on this album because he wore a lot of different hats on this project, obviously, and he wore them all well. He's kind of like the DJ, the orchestrator, he's the architect, and sometimes he's the MC and collaborator on here. And every hat he wears on here, he wears very well. This album plays extremely well, Mike. Like you spoke to something, you know what stuck out to me? There's a lot of talent on here.
Mm-hmm.
The people on here are talented, Mike.
And they
And it was
sound good
refreshing
on.
to
Yeah.
and it was refreshing to hear talent that I wasn't familiar with. And I kept finding myself going back. Like, I'm listening while I'm doing different things. And I kept on having to go back. I'm like, who is that?
Exactly.
I'm like, okay. Like I haven't done that about an album in a minute, especially a compilation. The Malaya chick is dope, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Inspiration and Anxiety are both really strong records. I enjoy both of those records a whole lot. The album has great sequencing. You spoke to it, Mike, behind the scenes. Snoop still has his pulse on the music. This compilation is proof of that. If he really is like the architect and behind the scenes and put this together, which it appears he did.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized something, Mike, and this goes back to the Benny conversation we were having. We were like, excuse me, what does Def Jam benefit? What does Benny benefit from signing with Def Jam? And when I listened to this album, Mike,
This
a
might
lot
be
of
it.
thoughts were occurring to me, and I'm like, Snoop is why it makes sense, Mike,
Yeah.
because nobody in this culture can bring people together or call people at the drop of the dime and get them in the room the way Snoop can. And that's why Def Jam wanted them. And that probably is why Benny is saying, no, Snoop had a lot to do with that because I thought about it, Mike. He's letting you know how strong he is on the first track, Mike. The album starts off with Redman.
Mm-hmm.
Redman had problems with Def Jam last time checked, was
Mm-hmm.
about how he was treated walking out the door. You feel what I'm saying? So just the fact that the album is starting off with Redman rapping on a Def Jam based compilation, it speaks to the power of Snoop and everybody and how they gravitate towards him. And so now Snoop being a part of Def Jam makes more sense, and Benny being part of Def Jam makes more sense. Because here's one thing that I think we forgot, and this is why I want to talk about Snoop's catalog some. Oh, Snoop got it like that, and Ben had it like that, and we forgot.
And you know what? It's interesting you say that because I didn't even think we were going to have that part of the conversation today. But yeah, you're right. We questioned last episode, like, what does Def Jam add to what Benny has going on? But you're right. When you
I got
listen to the sequencing of what Snoop was able to do with this compilation, those are some of the things that we were saying that Benny was missing in relation to his counterparts in Conway and West Side Gun. Like he hasn't been able to put together an effort like a Pray for Paris or an effort like, From a King to a God, sequence wise, feature wise, production wise, and based on what we're seeing here with Snoop, with the help of Def Jam, Snoop, and Benny coming together for that, that actually may happen in a real, real big way. So that
yeah.
that probably was more of a musical decision than a financial decision, where we always seem to look at record deals as financial decisions.
No, Mike, I'm glad you said that because one thing I thought about it is like, well, if Snoop putting projects together like this now and doing sequencing like this, a la his original mentor, Dr. Dre, oh, that makes me more excited about hearing Benny's project if Snoop is going to have his pulse on it and be adding something to it and listening to it and being there for some of the process. So now some of it starts to make more sense. And the quality of this album gives you more reason as somebody who's a fan of Benny to be excited about him being signed to Def Jam.
Um,
Go ahead. I got a
I,
few more musical notes because I
Okay,
wanted to
cool.
give
Yeah,
like,
LP said something I want to address too. He said that Snoop is a Def Jam fan. Yeah, and it shows in the album cover where he has the Warren G plaque on the wall. He has the EPMD plaque on the wall. It was Public Enemy plaque on the wall, and it was also a Slick Rick plaque on the wall. I think
mhm.
that it's highly noted that Snoop is very influenced by Slick Rick and his style and the way that he approached hip hop music. And coming from the era of hip hop that Snoop comes from, you can't not be a Def Jam fan. And the fact that he's been able
No
to
way.
do this whole thing full circle from the West Coast and go to Def Jam and kind of, control the climate and bring it back in a sense, I think is really dope. And this compilation really, set the tone for that and let people know that this just wasn't a PR move by Def Jam. This is a real serious thing.
Right. And so here's what I mean about great sequencing and song structure and where it matters, Mike. I mean, the highlight of this album might be Big Subwoofer, right? I think Big
I think
Subwoofer
so.
is the highlight of the album.
Let me pull up. I'm
I
pulling
mean,
up
that's
the track list
and
right
there's a
now
lot of highlights, but I
because
just
it's a
felt
lot.
like, yeah, like 40, Cube, and Short and Snoop all came off on that record well to me,
I like
and
the
I
beat
really
that was on
enjoyed
it and
hearing all of
everything.
them together.
Yeah,
I enjoyed hearing them together. It's like they had fun doing it, even if they weren't together. But here's what I mean about sequence and song structure. So that's a West Coast record, Mike. Immediately, the next song is the East Coast record with Benny, Kiss, and Buster. He's giving you balance,
yeah,
and there's never too much hip hop in a row. There's never too much R&B in a row. He's switching it up. Been Through by Hey Dion is dope. Been By and by Jane Hancock. Jane Hancock is dope too. Like her records on here. I thought By and By was the best one. Diamond Life with Mary. Make It Last. I was like, I took a note, Mike. I put Make It Last is the R&B soul music that I used to go to Janae Aiko for.
mm.
That kind of toxic R&B. um, the
I'm
only low
I'm
light for
glad
the album for
October
me, Mike.
London was on here too because he was another person that I've always given Snoop credit for. What I'm saying,
Yeah,
introducing me to. Snoop's always been
yeah.
around really good artists. But what were you about to say? I'm sorry.
I mean, the only drawback to this album to me are like the last few tracks. It did lose a little steam at the end. I felt like no smut on my name and Get My Money is kind of just like okay compared to the other records coming before it. But Mike, there's stuff everywhere, man. Like New Oldies dope, Make Some
Yeah.
Money's dope, Go to War.
I
Yeah,
think that Snoop as an artist and being around so many different sounds in his career, and we were going to speak to his catalog. I know we had that conversation earlier, but when you look at how diverse that his catalog has been throughout his career and how he's been able to change with the times, and the fact that he made Rhythm and Gangsta with the Neptunes and with other producers and all of that, I think he's
right.
taken all of this stuff in and really has learned as it's kind of like a player, right? Like I was out there on the court, I played for a bunch of different systems. Now it's time for me to sit in the background and be a coach and
Mm-hmm.
utilize all of the things that I've learned throughout my illustrious career and my incredible catalog and apply them to other people because he's always been a great collaborator. And I think of all the people that we talk about with great catalogs, I think he's probably been the best collaborator. I know we give Jay Z a lot of credit for being a great collaborator, but is he a better collaborator than Snoop?
No,
I don't think so. Cause when Snoop
I
got on
mean,
that Mariah Carey "Say Something" song that Neptunes did, he fit right in that song like he was. You know what I mean? Like it was
here's
one.
why, Mike. He came into the game having to fit in. It used to be Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg the first couple of years of his
Mm-hmm.
career. So he had to learn about teamwork very early, Mike. I mean, he was, working with the DLC and Dr. Dre and the Dog Pound and Warren G. So, I mean, he came into the game working under teamwork and understanding what teamwork meant. He just had star capability and star power and hit making ability. So him stepping out to his own was never a problem, but he understood those things very early on because that's how he came into the game. So that's what I mean when you're talking about he's a better collaborator. It's like, is anybody a better collaborator than the dude that made Deep Cover and Nothing But a G? You get what I'm
No, no,
saying?
you're
Like,
right.
no.
And these are collaboration songs. So yeah, you're right. It's
These
hard
are
to put it.
collaborative.
Yeah.
He made his name on collaborations. That's what I'm
No.
saying.
No, you're right. And you got the best director in hip hop in Dr. Dre and his best subject, for lack of a better term, in Snoop Dogg. And Snoop
Yeah,
is, he's quietly, without, people saying, okay, I signed the Snoop Dogg, signed the Snoop Dogg, he's quietly been around great new talent really for the past 20 years. And we haven't really given any credence
right.
to it. You know what I mean? Because you look at somebody
So
like October London. Like I heard him on, I want to say maybe a project that Snoop did about 4 or 5 years ago. But I'm like, this guy sounds like Sam Cooke or something. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's it's awesome,
so
man.
and Mike, and this is what I mean. It's like we haven't sung Snoop's praises enough about his catalog actually, because not saying it's like a top five catalog because I don't think that it's that. But Snoop's made a lot of great stuff, Mike. Like I was going through the non-doggy style hits, and I was like, man, 90% of the rappers would kill to have made these records that never were on doggy style. And I realized something too. Doggy Style gets a lot of Illmatic treatment. Snoop gets a lot of Illmatic treatment
He
because of
does.
Doggy Style. Like Doggy Style is so big and so massive and so important that it's like we kind of downplay some of the other stuff. Mike, I'm going to list Snoop's hit records that aren't on Doggy Style and tell me if this doesn't sound like a Hall of Fame rap career.
Go
No
for it.
Doggy Style records, Mike. Bitch Please.
Hmm.
Snoop Dogg with Timberland. Lay
I
Low.
didn't like that record. Me
From the
personally.
Church to the Palace. Beautiful. Drop It Like It's Hot. Let's Get Blown. Vato. That's That Shit. Boss Life. I Wanna Fuck with Akon. Mike, most rappers would kill. Those are 11 hit records, Mike.
Yeah.
Most rappers don't even have 11 hit records. We're not even talking about Doggy Style. And Mike, that's not even like the albums. Like you and I were talking today, it's like Rhythm and Gangster and the Blue Carpet Treatment are great albums, Mike.
I
They're
love
not good,
Rhythm
they're
and
great.
Gangster. I listen to Rhythm and Gangster from beginning to end. Like, it starts off with the
Mike,
Alchemist track, with the gospel
so
sample, yeah.
right, so
It
let's talk
ends with
about Rhythm
Boosie
and
Collins.
Gangster. I love to give you light, Mike. That's a great record, Mike. Bang out.
Bang
Can I
out's
get a
hard.
flick with you? Bang
Hmm.
out's one of Snoop's best songs. Mike, Ups and Downs is one of
Yeah.
Snoop's
The
best
BG
songs. The
sample, that's what's up.
Business.
Yeah.
Step Your Game Up's on Rhythm and
I
Gangster.
like that record too.
Mike, we didn't even bring up Mike on the Blue Carpet Treatment. Crazy. Mike, the intro to the Blue Carpet Treatment, think about it, is one
Hmm.
of Snoop's five best lyrical performances. Vato, Candy with
I
E40,
like that record too.
Imagine with Dr. Dre and D'Angelo.
Classic.
Mike, Pimp Slap, where he's dishing Suge on Pay the Cost to Be the Boss.
Yeah.
Long Beach to Brick City with Redman. Mike, Everywhere. Buckham with Buckham off of Top Dog, the Dre track with Fredro, I think from Onyx. No, from with
Sticky,
Sticky
yeah.
Fingers from Onyx.
Hmm.
Mike, this is the non-doggy style stuff.
M. Lynette says Rhythm and Gangsta is my favorite Snoop album. I've heard people say that. Rhythm and Gangsta has a dope feel to it, and I think that this compilation, it kind of speaks to how in sync he is even with R&B soul type of vibes. and he was able to do that on Rhythm and Gangsta. I think that might have been the first time that we saw him do that on a big level. Cause like songs like "Never Leave You" with Latoya Williams, like
Rhythm
dope.
and Gangster is where he grew up, but still knew how to like keep it street, and so it was a beautiful balance and blend. You could tell Snoop was more grown, but you could tell he was still like had his ear to the street. The Pharrell collabs. I mean, I feel like him and Pharrell make the best collaborations. I feel like that's Pharrell's best collaborator as far as hip hop
Really,
artists.
really,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
interesting.
I mean, as far as like as far as like a producer and MC getting together, like you have those combos. Like I feel like Timberland's best combo was Jay-Z. I feel like Pharrell's best combo was Snoop.
Timberlands is Missy, but yeah, I know what you mean.
No, no, no. I mean, no, no, no. See, that's what I mean. I'm not really necessarily talking about in your camp. That's what I mean.
Okay,
It's like
I
two
got
people
you.
really stepping out to collaborate. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how I feel about like the clip shit with Pharrell. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Okay. And you know what? I like Pharrell and Busta too, and I think it's more of an energy
Snoop's
thing.
better. Snoop's better though. It
Huh.
is. I mean, Buster don't have no beautiful or drop it like it's hot. I'm sorry, not with Pharrell.
They
Do
don't
we?
have Pastor Cavassier. They don't have
That's
what it is
that,
right
that's
now.
not touch, that's not touching beautiful or drop it like it's hot. That's what I'm
Beautiful's
saying.
great.
If past the Cavassier is their peak, then that's still a bronze medal
I
compared to
think
drop
I
it like
think
it's
you're
hot and
right.
beautiful.
I think you're
Yeah.
right. So where do you put
Yeah.
Snoop's catalog all together? Like, who do you think Snoop should have done a versus with? Because we saw what happened in the DMX. Was the DMX the best versus matchup for Snoop?
Okay, Mike. So I want you to understand. I just named all these Snoop records. I didn't name any Doggy Style records.
Or the
But you know what
Chronic?
else I did name, Mike? That means I didn't name any Chronic or Chronic 2001 records. Don't nobody want that smoke.
Yeah.
Don't nobody want this smoke. That's what I'm saying.
I know I was saying this when it happened. I said what Snoop played tonight, or during that verses. I was like, I don't think Jay Z would have beat him.
So, Mike, so when we were asking like who would beat LL in the verses, this is the guy.
Yeah,
This is the guy. Yeah, this is the guy. Yeah, that's the guy.
yeah.
Yeah, he's that guy.
That
He's
stuff
that
is
guy.
that stuff is
Cause
tough.
think about it. Cause think about it. I just named 10 hit records not on Doggy Style, which means he could go with those 10, and then he could start dipping into Doggy Style and the Chronic 2001. You're not gonna win. You're
Jermaine
not gonna
Young
win.
says Jay Z and Pharrell greater than Snoop and Pharrell. I think I'm gonna agree with that too.
Where's the beautiful and the drop it like it's hot at?
They got Give It to Me.
Like I said, where's the beautiful and the drop it like it's hot at?
I
Y'all keep
think
giving me these
I
records that are
think
a
Give
level
It to Me is
below.
better than both of those.
Huh?
I think Give It
What?
to Me is better than both of those. Beautiful is
Say
debatable.
what?
Beautiful's debatable, but I think Give It to Me is better than Drop It Like It's Hot.
Mike.
What about La La La? Did they got a collaboration like that? You
I'll
gonna
give
go
you Mike,
Vato?
I'll give you La 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 over Give It to Me. I'll give you La La
No.
La over Give It to Me.
Give It to Me is a banger. It might be the Jay Z song that has the most legs.
I mean, Mike, how about this? If Snoop doesn't make Doggy Style, like Drop It Like It's Hot and Beautiful are his biggest played records. Like I hear Beautiful more than I hear Give It to Me.
Do you?
Don't you?
I don't know
Yeah.
about that. I don't know about that.
Mike, Drop It Like It's Hot still plays in the club. Give It to Me still playing in the club.
Give It to Me does. That it's about to go down. What about Allure?
No, Mike, that part of the song plays, Mike. Drop It Like It's Hot still plays.
Nah, I mean it does, but Give It to Me
No,
does
Mike, it
too.
does.
I don't think you're giving Give It
As
to
in,
Me
like
enough
they let
credit.
Pharrell and Snoop get through their parts before the DJ mixed some other shit, not just the "It's About to Go Down" part.
Everybody
That's not
knows
playing the
the.
record. That's not
Everybody
playing the
knows
record,
the
Mike. You
Give
know
It.
that's not playing the record.
Everybody knows the Give It to Me
That's called
bars.
transitioning. That's called transitioning the mix on a live set. It's not playing the record.
I
Don't
always
nobody
hear
play that
that
record like
beat.
that.
No, I always hear that beat. They'll go into it when the Remy's in the system. Ain't no telling when I did some next when I be yelling. I think that's one
It's
of
not
his.
drop it like it's hot. It's not drop it like it's hot or beautiful. I'm sorry. Like, what do the people say?
Well, DeCarlo says facts, Mike. M. Lynn says Give It to Me is not better than Drop It Like It's Hot.
It's not.
Shannon Allure said, I'm sorry, Shannon Williams says Allure. That's another one, man. They got joints together. But I will give
Allure's
it. I
nice.
will give it to Snoop and Pharrell. They've actually made a lot more music together, and than
They got hits.
Pharrell and Jay
A
did.
lot of hits.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of
they
hits.
got